Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this evening, 55-year-old man chopped to death in Linstead. A police search is now on for a suspect who chopped a 55-year-old man to death in Linstead, St. Catherine last night. The deceased has been identified as Vinton Anderson, a laborer of Lemon Ridge District in Banbury in Linstead. It is reported that about 7:20 p.m., Anderson was in a yard in the community when he was attacked by a man who used a machete to chop him repeatedly to the back of his head. The man then fled the scene with Anderson bleeding profusely. Anderson was assisted to the Linstead Hospital where he succumbed to his injuries while being treated. Manchester 21-year-old charged for fatal gun attack in Albion. The Manchester police have charged a 21-year-old laborer in relation to a gun attack on a man while at his home in Albion District in Midday. He is Andre Williams of Hillside District in Knockpatrick, who was charged on Saturday with murder, possession of prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and using a firearm to commit a felony. The charges are in connection with the killing of 27-year-old Brian Samuels, a laborer of Albion District. The police report that about 6:20 p.m. on Monday, August the 12th, Samuels was at home when he was pounced upon by Williams and another man who opened the fire, hitting him several times. The police were alerted, and on arrival, Samuels was seen with multiple gunshot wounds. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Following an investigation into the incident, Williams was arrested. He was charged on Saturday, September 14, after he underwent an interview session in the presence of his attorney. Williams' court date has not been finalized, and his accomplice is currently being sought by the police. Electrician charged for defrauding US $2,100 from senior citizen freed after making restitution. A Kingston electrician charged for defrauding US $2,100 from a St. Catherine senior citizen was freed in the parish court this morning after paying back the money. Michael Campbell was charged with obtaining money by means of false pretense. When the matter was called up today, a relative of Campbell paid the 71-year-old complainant $314,000. An apology was also offered to the court regarding his action. Senior Parish Court Judge Yvette Wentworth Miller then dismissed the matter against Campbell. The court heard that on June 4, Campbell went to the 71-year-old complainant's home and convinced her that he knew someone who can convert her US dollars into Jamaican currency. The complainant gave him the money with the understanding that he would return the local equivalent. Campbell reportedly told the complainant that he placed the money in his bank account and would pay her soon. After 10 weeks of not receiving the money, the matter was reported to the Spanish Town Police. Following an investigation, Campbell was arrested and later he was charged. Renewed focus on seatbelts and the child restraint following deadly crashes. Concerns have again been raised about the wearing of seatbelts and the use of child restraints following road crash deaths on the weekend. In Westmoreland, a 22-year-old man and his 3-month-old son died on the Waterworks main road. The child was ejected from the vehicle. In Clarendon, 2 police officers died while pursuing suspects along the Yorktown main road. Both incidents happened on Sunday. Vice Chairman of the National Road Safety Council, Dr. Lucian Jones, has lamented that too many drivers and the passengers are refusing to wear seatbelts, which is a requirement under the law. It is also a legal requirement for child restraint to transport children under 12 in private vehicles. Amendments were made to the road traffic law to facilitate public passenger vehicles. Dr. Jones maintained that protective devices can save lives.
To the extent that this is not happening, to that extent we're exposing our children and adults to danger. And we have to make sure that every aspect of the system's approach is exploited fully. And therefore, as a country, as enforcing officers, we have to make sure that people are properly buckled up in cars, both front and back, and that motorcyclists wear a helmet. The matter of the two police persons who died and seatbelt, that will have to await further and better particulars about exactly what happened. But this is an issue which has been in the public domain, and that one needs some revisiting, and that is some matter that has to be settled internally by the police. How do you protect our lawmen and women when they are chasing down suspected criminals?
But Assistant Commissioner of Police Gary McKenzie, who heads the GCF's Public Safety and the Traffic Enforcement Branch, told the news that while the drivers of service vehicles are required to wear seatbelts, there are exceptions for passengers.
The Road Traffic Act is clear with respect to the use of seatbelts by citizens and members of the security forces. The road traffic law indicates that the driver should be wearing his or her seatbelt, and the persons who are riding in the vehicle need not be. In situations where the police have to act, as I have said before, the police will have to do what is required to ensure that they are able to maneuver themselves depending on the situation.
Bunting urges politicians to speak out against the criminality. Opposition spokesman on national security, Senator Peter Bunting, is urging politicians to speak out against the criminal activities in their constituencies or divisions. Mr. Bunting notes that lottery scamming and money laundering through car marts have become pervasive in Manchester. He says the amount of money involved has led to ambivalence among citizens, including politicians, but he has challenged his colleagues not to turn a blind eye to crime.
Politicians are afraid to speak out about it because they say, boy, if all of that money turn against me in an election, then dog now mess up. But there are a few courageous politicians, including the ones sitting up here today, who are not afraid to speak truth. Speak truth to power, wherever that power may be. It may be power in terms of government, it may be power in terms of criminal organizations, it may be power in terms of political party hierarchy. But you cannot, to my mind, be a genuine politician who want to improve the quality of life of people and be afraid to speak truth to power. Probably the first level of failure is the family, because if our children are not properly socialized at the home, they're going to be more vulnerable. If they don't have a responsible father in their lives, they're going to be more vulnerable. Second place is the school, because in the past a lot of socialization that didn't take place in the family was compensated for in the school.
The Manchester Police say they have a firm handle on crime in the parish. Deputy Superintendent Kerry Duncan, commanding officer for the Manchester Police Division, says of the 7 categories of major crimes, all except murders and shootings have been trending down.
So since the start of 2024, we have recorded 191 major crimes, and this is compared to 238 for the corresponding period for 2023. This represents a decrease of 47 or 20%. And we are in no way celebrating 20% reduction, because where we really want to be is at 50%. However, it is important to point this out, just to allay the fears of the people in Manchester that crime is out of control.
Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.